it's kind of a sad time a little bit because this is the last pepper sauce of the season I'm gonna be able to make. Well, we had a frost like about a week ago, and I'm just putting on some gloves and I'm gonna explain why in a second. But we had a frost, and because of the game and everything else, I didn't really get to the last harvest. So I did do a last harvest big Chinese fermentation vessel for a pepper sauce. It turned out fire, it was great. Every successive pepper sauce that I've made through this season has really kind of been its own thing. And, you know, fermenting hot sauces, I'm trying to do as many as I can because I just think that it's one of those things that everyone should do. It's really incredible. If you're gonna grow peppers, highly, highly, highly recommend. Even if you don't like hot peppers, I've done a bunch of sweet peppers and basically used them as like straight up salsas or added them to tomatoes. It's really been incredible. I had a last frost and then we had a bunch of frosts. And I went out in the garden and I was gonna look at the dahlias and some other things that I still need to do. I've got some crosney that I need to harvest. All that's coming later in a video. And I noticed that I had a ton of lemon drops that were still viable and they were still on the vine, and some 7-pot peppers. So check this out. So this tray represents everything I was able to pull, which is kind of a lot. And check these out. So these are 7-pot peppers. I made a straight up 7-pot hot sauce with these guys, but there were 3 more left. So, you know, primarily I've got, you know, some honey. These are some Sugar Rush Peach that are ripe. I had a bunch that weren't ripe, and so I didn't pull them. I have some Zapotecas, some Zapoteca jalapenos that are pretty good to go. Still was throwing off some Criollo de Cochinas, so that's a sweet pepper. And then a variety of like poblanos and different peppers where, okay, and then I don't even know what these little guys are. I think they're like little Tabasco peppers. They're really hot though. One of my favorite peppers of all time, one of the first peppers I ever grew, is lemon drop. The lemon droppers, which I love, 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 love. These are great peppers. I'm just gonna make what I'm gonna call post-frost lemon drop. The 7 pots are gonna add some fire. So I'm gonna stick to a 3% brine here. I've got gloves on because the lemon drops are hot, but the ghost peppers are even hotter. And so I'm actually gonna start with the ghost peppers. So I'm gonna go ahead and process all of this. And with the ghost peppers, you have to be very, very careful. I'm gonna put seeds and all. You know, what I do is I cut them in half. I make sure that there's no like black spots or anything. I want this to be lemony 7-pot, basically. My hope is that some of the sweet peppers flavors kind of come in. 7-pot isn't the like best tasting pepper of all time. This one is not as ripe, but he still was pretty good. My God. Ooh. Yeah, 7-pot don't play. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do a lot of my fresh peppers, but again, I'm gonna do all seeds here. So I'm gonna try to save as much as I can because I don't have a lot of peppers. My main goal is to try to get rid of the pith and then just cut them down so there's more surface area for the salt, brine, and the lacto fermentation to kind of get in there. These are Sugar Rush Peach that I'm doing right now. I've got 2 of these that are very ripe. And they're about 30,000 Scoville. They're kind of in the same range of the lemon drops. And I do think it's nice to add sweet peppers to this. I think the flavor comes through. So I'm gonna just go ahead and process all the rest of these sweet peppers, and then I'm gonna get into the lemon drops. Here we go. This one is not good. So this is what I'm really looking for. I'm looking for, this one has some kind of fungal growth on it. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm not gonna play with that one. And then I'm gonna go ahead and compost all this stuff, get it into the compost bin. And then I got the Zapotecas. Zapotecas are incredible. I did an entire hot sauce just with Zapotecas. And I do have some that are not ripe, but I think they'll add some freshness. It's funny, jalapenos, I don't worry about the pith as much. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm just crazy talk. All right, here we go, Criollo de Cochina. I haven't even figured out all the things to do with the Criollo de Cochinas, but they just have a nice flavor. Just tamp everything down because we got to get ready for the lemon drops. Pull that out. Crunchy. I love that crunch. Tabasco, guys. Fire, fire flavor. All right, here we go. Now, my favorite part of the show is lemon drops. Basically what I do is I cut all the tops of the lemon drops. So now I'm gonna cut them in half. So I got the lemon drops all done, processed. Good amount, perfect amount. I can still get everything on there, that's nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and weigh this. Again, I'm looking for 3% salt brine by weight. So I need the weight of everything here. And I'm gonna add water to this. And go ahead and fill this up. I've got an 1168 weight and the glass was 475. So I'm gonna take 1168 minus 475, and then I'm gonna times that by 0.03 to get 20.79 of salt. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually get the water back. I'm gonna use a spoon to get these in here. So I've got these all back in now. This is basically a glass weight. And then I've got this salt, 20.79. There's 8, 22, 21. Okay, great. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my salt into my water mixture here. And all I'm gonna do is just kind of mix it up to get it dissolved as much as I can without breathing in this water, because this water will make me cough. Gonna pour the brine in there. Perfect. This is a burping nipple. So it's got a nipple on there. And so we're just gonna put this on the top. And there you have it. We're gonna let that ferment now for 14 days or so in the kitchen at, we're about room temperature. Post-frost lemon drop. Let's go with some 7-pot. See you in 14 days. Check out part 2.